Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the What's a Big Deal podcast, where we don't make a big deal about one thing, we make a big deal about everything. And I have a guest with me today. It's Layne Mullenix, aka my mother.
Hi.
So guys, today we are actually going to be talking about intimacy. Now, there's a lot of different ways of intimacy. It's not just sex. Okay. That's such a naughty word.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah,
You have to
literally.
spell it.
Every time everybody mentions that word, everybody freaks out. But it's not a naughty word.
No.
Anyways, as I was saying, intimacy is not just sex. It's also a lot of different things. But before we get deep into that, I wanted to kind of have you guys get to know her and her story a little bit. So Mom, kind of tell us how long you've been married for to Dad.
21 and a half years. In the fall, it will be 22 years that we've been married. 26 years that we've been together next month.
Yeah, so they've been together for a very long time, high school sweethearts. You want to tell them how you met?
Sure. We met through one of my best friends in high school. It's his cousin. And we met in a choir, a teen choir that kind of would travel all over Michigan and sing. And we would go to camp for a week. And so we officially met at camp.
Which is crazy. It's crazy how that happens. Well, the first time you saw Dad, wasn't it like him on a diving board or something?
Yeah. There was an indoor pool that we would go swim at, and he was doing triple flips off of the diving board. I remember seeing him and knowing who it was, but I wasn't like, ooh. I just remember seeing it, and it probably wasn't for, I don't know. I don't even know if that was the summer we met or not.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
It's actually crazy just how like you looked at him. Oh, hello guys. Hey, work, go away. Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, it's just crazy how you can see people and then they could be so involved in your life. Like you looked at him
Yeah.
but didn't think oh, this is where my life would go.
Right. It's funny because I remember meeting him and his brother at the same time too, like
Mhm.
being introduced to both of them. And I still remember what your dad was wearing. Like, I don't remember anything
Really?
about his brother, but I remember him. But it wasn't like I was interested. It's weird how memories work.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that you knew that. I've heard this story so many times. I've asked so many times. I just find it so cool. All right, so now I'm gonna ask my mom a few questions about intimacy. I kind of wanted to ask how would you define intimacy? Like, what is it to you?
I think intimacy is like fully being like bare and open in front of the person that you're in a relationship with,
Mhm.
which intimacy can be between friendships, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's being fully like showing your true authentic self. They know your fears, they know your joys, they
Mhm.
know your story. They like when you get real intimacy, like you kind of know what someone's thinking or what they're doing, but
Mhm.
you can be authentically you, the raw you, and then the other person loves you no matter what. They've seen you at your worst, they've seen you at your best, and they love you regardless.
Yeah. That is true intimacy. It's
Hmm.
such a beautiful thing, and it kind
Hmm.
of saddens me sometimes when people can't get to that place,
Uh-huh.
because there's a lot of people who can't.
Yeah, it's because I think they're afraid.
Mhm.
They're afraid if people see the true them that they'll, you know.
Leave them.
Hmm.
Mhm. I've experienced that. It's hard, but it's very beautiful, and um I hope that everybody gets to experience that. Not just in relationships, but friendships too.
Yeah, it's really freeing because you can just be yourself.
Mhm.
And I feel like, you know, the person that you have that intimacy with, like, because they know your fears or they know your joys, like, they push you to be a better version of yourself,
Mhm. Mhm.
And
That's
I
how you
think
know it's
that's,
real. If they
yeah.
can push you and have you open up like that.
Hmm.
What does building up intimacy look like within a relationship?
I think it takes a lot of time.
Mhm.
I think you know, sometimes there's growing pains, like you get to a certain level and then you sort of level up, whether a situation comes or, you know, like when you're dating. And I think that one of my, like someone in my family passed away, you know, and
Mhm.
it's how does somebody help deal with, you know, when you're going through deep pain, or like life just has a way of continuously pulling you along,
Mhm.
but you continue to feel safe. Like it makes you go deeper when you kind of get through those kind of weird times, you know,
Yeah.
or somewhat difficult, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't remember ever being like a intentional thought.
Mhm.
It's just over time you continue to build trust and fun and communication, and it just gets better over time.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes for both relationships and friendships too.
Mhm.
In obviously different ways, but yeah. Well, that was a good answer.
Thanks.
She's a very wise woman. Okay, let's see. What should people do if their partner isn't understanding? This is for relationship. So, what should people do if their partner isn't understanding how to build up intimacy or if their partner isn't willing?
Well, when it comes to relationships, I would say the answer would be somewhat different if you're dating
Mhm.
and you've continually, I keep saying that wrong, continuously
Continuously.
are sharing like an area that you want growth in, or you don't like how you're acting, and they continuously not want to move forward with you. It's kind of like
Mhm.
you either need to get to the root of that, or I would say they're not your person,
Mhm.
because you should always be growing. The other, like any relationship, it has to be equal. Like, I don't like it when people say they're my better half.
Yeah, or like 50-50. It should be
Yeah,
100 and 100.
exactly. It's a whole person with a whole person,
Mhm.
and you make like an amazing team power, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
so
exactly.
like if you're dating and you continuously are saying, I don't know why I keep saying that word now.
Hey, it's a good word to use, so
If you're saying the same thing over and over and getting no change, then I would just say, I think that says all you need to know, that maybe they're not in it as much as
Mhm.
you are. And why would you want to keep dragging someone along who doesn't want to go
Mhm.
into the same depths, you know,
Yeah.
because it's painful.
Yeah, you're just gonna keep hurting yourself if you keep pushing
Hmm.
and pushing and they're just not giving you what you have been giving them.
Right. Now, in a marriage, I think it's a little different,
Oh, 1000%.
because you
Yeah.
are already committed to each other. And this is coming from like a godly perspective.
Mhm.
So, obviously, if abuse is happening in any way, you never stay in that.
Mm-mm.
So, but assuming you're not in an abusive relationship, you're in a good relationship, but you are wanting, there's a dynamic that's happening that you don't like. Obviously, number one, you pray a lot about it. If, you know, asking God, if do I need to change my heart in this area, or does that person need to change their heart, and let God do his thing. Sometimes people's growth, you're not growing necessarily at the same time.
Mhm.
And we've experienced this a little bit, and you kind of have to be patient with people. Like, as long as things are still like okay, you know, but they're just not quite where you're at,
Mhm.
you pray and ask God to reveal things. But also, you know, if your partner is a good person and they want to make you happy, they're going to want to work on the things that will make it better.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't just remember you can't make somebody do
No.
something, but at least try. Trying is
Yeah, you
the
just
best
keep
thing you can do.
communicating how it makes you feel.
Mhm.
And then if they don't understand, then sometimes that's maybe when you need to bring in a third person to
Yep.
give a different perspective, like therapy or something.
Yep.
But also sometimes you just have to kind of pray and wait for people to catch up to where you're at, or for
Yeah.
God to reveal something to them. Like, it's a marriage is a really cool thing, but it can be a interesting dance, because it's two different people committed to each other,
Mhm.
and that commitment is so powerful because it makes you stay sometimes, when
Yeah.
things are hard, but they should want to make things better.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Ugh, you're my favorite. Guys, my mom is my bestie. I get, like, daily therapy sessions from her.
I get them too now. So,
Oh, yeah,
from
that's
you.
true. Yeah, that's true. I've gotten to the point where I'm old enough to actually give her wisdom too, and it's so cool being
Yeah.
able to do this stuff with her. So, yay. All right. Last question for this little round. How has intimacy changed over the years for you? And like how do you keep the romance and the excitement within your relationship?
I think a lot of it boils down to the little things. Like
Mhm.
everybody makes a huge deal this day and age and huge gestures, It's now
Yes.
it's, before you just used to ask a girl to a dance, your dad asked me out on a date at McDonald's parking lot.
I forgot about
I
that.
know after he's 15, I was 17, yes, I'm a little older. And he asked me out in a McDonald's parking lot, and now, when we ask dances, like, but now everybody does everything bigger and grander, but it's the simple everyday things that create that intimacy and bond, like
Mhm.
holding hands, you know snuggling, taking time to talk every day, saying thank you when he does something for me, like he got me
Yeah.
water this morning, we made breakfast together this morning. Like, it's the little things, and it's not taking each other for granted. Like, obviously going away together is really important. Doing fun things together is really important.
Mhm.
But it's the little things, like saying thank you, I'm sorry, I love
Yeah.
you, I'm really thankful for you. Like, those are things we do every single day
Yeah.
and have since day one.
Well, I feel like movies kind of ruined the outlook on love and intimacy sometimes because, there's so much it's all based on like sex and this and that, like
Yeah, you
literally
you
and
lock
everything.
eyes and then it's like,
And
oh,
then it's
it's
like
on.
chemistry. No, literally, literally. And so I feel like movies kind of ruin that sometimes, especially nowadays in social
Hmm.
media.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad. Everybody thinks like they have to give me flowers every single day. This and this. Like it's
Yeah.
those are important. Like it's sweet, but
Yes.
it's
Those gestures are good, and they make you feel special, and I think it's almost, they talk about in relationships, when you're starting a relationship, there's the certain chemicals that are going
mhm.
off in your brain that bond people,
Yeah.
and bring that fire. And it's not that you still can't capture and have fire throughout your entire marriage. But you kind of have to create that. And I think sometimes that comes with like doing something new together,
Yeah.
experiencing something new. But there's also when it shifts into like, they say you should marry your best friend. Like,
Yeah.
it's true. Like, there's not a single person in this world I'd rather be with more than your dad. And we just have a good time together.
Mhm.
And it's like being like home with him.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to date somebody who makes you feel miserable on the
No.
inside.
And I always have told people, like, love should be easy.
Yeah.
Like, not saying hard things don't come,
Yeah.
because life has a way of smacking you.
Throwing things
Yeah,
at
I
you.
mean, we've had a lot of things thrown our way,
Yep.
and we've proven that in the worst of times we still have that
Mhm.
intimacy and connection, and in the best of times we will too. But like, I lost my train of thought of what I was saying with that. My brain's going all over the place. Just, love should flow easy, it shouldn't be dramatic. I think
Yeah.
that's what movies show. It's like, oh, if you're
Yes.
fighting all the time, it's so full of passion, and I'm like, but is it?
No.
I like, obviously you're different people, you have different thoughts, and it's
Yeah.
okay. It's good to disagree.
But your values and beliefs should be similar,
Yeah.
especially like in a godly relationship. Your values should line up with each other.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because you don't want to fight all the time. Like, that's draining. Like, the good moments are good, but the bad, like, those can What am
Mhm.
I trying to say?
Well,
I
you
don't
should
know.
have a lot more good than bad.
Yeah,
And and
exactly.
and a bunch of arguing to me isn't really making things spicy.
No.
I would
No.
find that annoying.
It is
Maybe
annoying.
there's somebody out there who does bicker all the time and they're just fully in love, but
Yeah.
that's just not how I roll.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between, like, playful bickering and actual
Yes.
bickering, like,
Yeah.
you don't wanna be bickering all the time.
No,
It's not
no.
fun. It doesn't make it fun. Then it makes you guys hate each other
Yeah.
in a way, and you may not even know.
Yep.
So
Yeah, they say if you roll your eyes at your significant other that that's like contempt and it's like over if you're like, ugh.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what? I didn't know that.
Contempt. Yeah.
What? Ye Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind,
Yeah, don't be
just in
rolling those
case. If I go on
eyes.
a date and I roll my eyes the first 10 minutes, done.
I think you've done that already. A
What?
little FaceTime date.
Oh,
The
1000%. I did guys, I went on Hinge, okay? I downloaded a dating app, and this guy freaking oh my gosh, don't even get me started. I could make a whole video on it, just ranting, and this guy wanted to FaceTime me. I don't think I've ever been, like, so irritated in my life with this dude. First of all, I'm so sorry. I really hope he never comes across this, but he was not even cute. And he just we did not have the same belief system. I was trying to understand, but he, like, kept arguing with me.
Yeah, he wanted a theological debate. He probably thought it was fun. Like I said, he probably thought it
Um,
was fun.
I don't know, he ended the FaceTime
Yep,
call.
he quit.
He quit. I'm too stubborn. I'm headstrong, okay, I'll admit it, and I will not change my mind, so
Well, it wasn't a change, like your mind wasn't going to be changed on it. But anyways,
no.
it was just a funny story. She I was the one that said, "Oh, you should just do the FaceTime anyways," even
Ugh.
though the texting was kind of based on this point, but it's a learning
I
experience.
was even rolling my eyes when I was telling her about the whole thing.
Yeah. But it's an
So
experience and a fun story to tell.
it is, yes.
He was not it.
No, not it at all.
Uh,
Sex, baby. Let's
let's
talk
talk about
about
you
you
and
and me.
me.
Let's
Talk
talk
about
about sex.
let's talk about sex.
Yes, let's talk about sex, guys. Ooh, the naughty word that everybody goes around. I feel like in Christianity, it's like a very like, let's not talk about this
A
in
little
church
taboo.
topic.
It should be very much talked about in the church, just
Yeah.
so the world knows God created it. So it's a good
Yes.
thing.
Exactly. It's not a bad thing. Um, okay. I have a few questions that I'm gonna ask her.
Mm.
Okay. And guys, don't think this is weird because it's not. She's my mom. We're very open around here. Obviously, not that open. Let me reiterate, not that open, okay? That's where I cross the line. But it's a good thing to talk about.
Yes.
And so let's
I
get
mean,
right
how
into
else are you
it.
going to learn?
Exactly. Yeah, your parents should be teaching you about this stuff in a good way.
Yes.
Okay. So waiting for marriage, like what is it like to wait and how long did you and dad wait for marriage?
A very long time.
Yes.
um so we we both grew up very much in the in the 90s when the purity rings, like I had a purity ring and all the things, but there was definitely a time when I knew it was my decision. I do, ultimately it's what God wants and it's the best for him, because when you're not having sex with someone, like when you are having sex with somebody, it confuses what you think is intimacy
Mhm.
and real love. But anyways, so it was just a choice I always wanted and he always wanted. So we from the time we started dating till we got married, it was 4.5 years. So we waited 4.5 years.
I still don't know how you did it.
It's very difficult,
Yeah.
but in the best way. Now,
Mhm.
I have even more respect for people who have had sex in the past and then they rededicate just to wait,
Yes,
because
cuz
they know what they're missing. We
yeah.
don't know. We didn't know what we were missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but it's really difficult but like in the best way. It gives you a goal. I
Mhm.
remember dad once, we used to do like marriage moments on Facebook Live. We would talk about this stuff.
Mhm.
And he was saying how it like gives you a goal to achieve as a couple and like how it builds like that. Like,
And it builds more connection too, like
I mean, we know that we know that we know that we like and love each other because we, despite that part, we stuck it out
mhm.
and continuously grew together. But it's just hard because, God gives us desires and those
Mhm.
desires are real and you should have those desires. But it's just knowing there's a time and a place. So we constantly talked about it. If we pushed a boundary that we didn't want, we would re-talk about it and
Mhm.
be like, oh, like cool our jets, and just had a goal in line of when we wanted to get married, which our
Yeah.
goal was he had to be 20.
Well, it's also important to, talk about it too, especially if you're not having sex, because it kind of calms the other person's mind, saying, like, okay, I do want you, but, we have something that we're fighting for with each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's a really good goal. Um, I know people think we're crazy. I still had people think that I was lying. I'm like, why would I lie about
Yeah,
that?
why would yeah, I'd be sharing it on the roof, well, not the rooftops, but
I don't know. I mean, I'm proud of it. Sometimes people I think that you think you're better than other people, but I no, it was our goal and we made it and it was hard and it was worth it.
mhm.
Um it's not something to lie about and people
No.
certainly don't lie about having sex these days, so
Yeah, nope,
who
they don't.
cares?
I know. Gen Z is crazy. This is
Mhm.
definitely not a generation I thought would be like this. Not saying it's bad,
No, they have a
but
lot of good things too,
yeah.
but I just think there's a lot of, everybody's like free, be yourself, do whatever you
Yes, true
want
to
with no
yourself and all that
consequence.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
that's not what God calls us to do.
Yeah,
He calls
exactly.
us to die to our flesh daily.
Mhm.
And that includes your hormones that are telling you to do XYZ. And you're like,
Yes.
but I can't yet. So I need to put those in check.
All comes down to discipline,
Mm hmm. Yes.
and it can be hard.
Yep. But it's worth it.
What does God say about waiting for marriage and what sex means within a godly relationship? And why is it so important to wait for marriage?
Loaded question. No.
Yeah. You
um
can take it one step at a time if you want.
well, I guess I should have came prepared with verses, but God does talk a lot about purity in the Bible, which and just, waiting, like sex confuses things.
Mhm.
And sex is the ultimate difference in any other relationship that you have
Mhm.
is actually having sex in it. And marriage, as God designed between a man and a woman to create life, and it's a really beautiful thing and a beautiful gift. So, but not sleeping with anybody, there's a lot of statistics which I'm not even prepared to share because I don't know them, but I've read a lot of things about just the statistics of people being happier, like the less partners you've had
Mhm.
sexually, the happier and more content you are. It's basically, it's like the more you open your heart and mind to
Mhm.
multiple people and multiple things, I think you're never satisfied.
Yeah, well, once you open that door and have sex with multiple different people, you're literally giving part of yourself away, which I'm not trying to shame anybody, obviously. I would
No.
never do that, but I think that it's us trying to fill the void. Like if you've had sex with multiple people, you're trying to fill the void, but that void is Jesus. It's not more intimacy. So,
Yeah, agreed. But it's funny because sometimes people think like, oh, having sex with one person your whole life can be really boring. And I'm like, but what's
but if they're your
boring?
best friend, it shouldn't be boring.
No,
Like,
and God's the renewer of all things, but
mhm.
I sex is pretty basic and you
Mhm.
don't have to be crazy for it to be
No, I don't
satisfying.
wanna be whipped. Like, keep that whip away. I'm good, buddy.
Yeah, I think that, again, I think the intimacy of it, it's deeper than that,
Mhm.
and but it's the connector in a couple,
Yeah.
like when you're married and it's just you and him, that's easy. And then you add kids into it and jobs and life
Mhm.
stress. And it can be the first thing that couples throw out the window. But if it's something you're always fighting for, and I don't use the word fight in a like a bad way, meaning like you're scraping for it. It's
Mhm.
more like you make it a priority. It keeps you connected. It keeps you soft to each other.
Yeah.
Like it keeps you tender to one another and
Mhm.
like, oh, like we were first, we
Yeah.
loved each other first and we're in this together. But it's like the ultimate difference between a friendship and then a marriage. It should be the sex.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, cuz you can't connect with anybody that way like
Yeah, I mean
any
people do, but they try to,
well,
but
yeah,
what do
but
their
it's not
lives
the
look like?
same. Yeah, exactly. It creates messes that you don't want.
Yeah,
Um okay, next
it's
question.
safer too.
Yes, very yeah.
In
Yeah.
every way, mentally, your heart, your physical body, it's just us, it's safe.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about it that way
Mhm.
either. Huh. Learning something new every day. Okay, let's see. Okay. What do you have to say to people who didn't wait before marriage, who want to wait again for their next partner?
I would say number one, like, that's amazing. I think it's a little bit harder of a road, but it's totally possible. And like, that's one thing I think, like, purity, when they did purity talks back in the day, purity was all about being like untouched.
Mhm.
But to me, purity is more about our heart
Well,
before
that's
the
literally what
Lord.
the Lord tells us.
Yeah, because, I just think like people, you only know what you know,
Mhm.
and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So to expect people who don't love Jesus or don't know him to act like a Christian, I think is ignorant. Like,
Yeah.
you can't expect the world to act like Jesus. They're not trying to be Jesus. They're
Yeah.
not trying to live for him. To me, it's a little different when you are a Christian and you're trying to live for him, that you can, when people don't care about that stuff. Like, I
Mhm.
think that's a deeper issue. But if you've had sex before and you want to wait, it's totally possible. The biggest thing is you have to find somebody who's like-minded as you, that want the same goal. One person can't be like, fine, I'll do it because you want to.
Yeah.
You both have to be very committed to it. And if you know you want to get married, don't wait 5 years. Like,
Get married in 3 months for all I care. I
I
mean,
mean, that
doesn't there's a verse
yeah,
about
there's
that
a Bible that talks about not
yeah.
yeah, not like like the flame before it's time, or not turning on the flame before it's time.
Yeah. Well, it
It
says don't like burn in lust or something
Yeah, it
like
also says that, not burning in lust.
yeah.
Yeah, we should have came prepared with
Yeah,
verses.
I really wish I would have written that
Well,
down. Well, I didn't think about it
I
until like
know,
we were
we
just
can
now
do it
talking
another
about it.
time.
Yeah.
But um but it is possible. And like, and don't live in shame. Like, sometimes
Mhm.
I feel like the enemy likes to put shame on people for their past. And that's not, if you've asked for forgiveness and you want to be a new person and a new creation, as God says, like, that's gone and God doesn't think
Yeah.
about it again. So you shouldn't either. And yes, sometimes our past decisions can come into, our future just by experiences you've had or thoughts. But
Mhm.
those are things that you and your future spouse can work through together in grace and love.
Yeah. Like you've already been forgiven even before you asked for forgiveness.
Yeah,
He loves you that much.
exactly. And I think I know you can still have a beautiful marriage and sex life. It doesn't mean it's ruined. God is
Yeah.
the renewer of all things. So,
I know it can feel like that, but feelings do lie.
yeah, I know
So,
sometimes like, back in the day, I've heard lies of people saying, like, oh, well, they're not going to have as good a marriage if they didn't wait. Like, even Christians, obviously, it's a very natural thing. God created sex, He created
yeah.
hormones.
I feel like people outside of Christianity always think we're like um wait, shoot, I lost my train of thought. No.
Hypocritical.
Yeah, it's like we don't feel all the things
Yeah.
they feel. Like, no, that's not true. We're literally human beings. We just follow Jesus.
Well,
Like,
I've had so before Dad and I were married, I'm a hairstylist and worked with a lot of people, and I've come across people who they genuinely do not understand that thought. And I don't even know how these conversations come up. I've always been very open about it because I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Not in a way of making people feel bad, but it was freaking hard. And
Yeah.
I was really proud of it.
Yeah.
I think it makes our story, our particular story
Unique.
unique to us.
Yeah, exactly.
But they would think like you're dead inside or you don't have hormones. And
No,
I'm
you
like, you
can.
ever been to a Christian camp before?
Yeah, oh, don't even
Those
get me started.
hormones be going.
Yeah, you have to really keep students off each other sometimes.
But like you're not ruined because you've
Yeah.
had past experiences. You think about all the shame that people who have been men and women who've been SA'd,
Yeah.
as young children, and the shame that they grow up with, which is so
Yeah.
not theirs to carry.
Exactly.
Like you're not ruined. You're not
No.
ruined. God doesn't see you like the purity comes from a place of our heart and how we want to be before the Lord. And
Yeah.
it's not what our physical body has been through.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, shoot, I was gonna say something else. I don't know, my brain's like not working right now. But yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
That was a good response.
I just always want people to know that. Like,
I know.
I think people, they think you think differently of them because you haven't lived the same experience, but I
But
don't.
we're all the same in God's eyes. He literally tells us that. Like we're
Yeah.
all the same.
I mean, it's funny because coming from where I have, having kids, and how we have this conversation, like, obviously, our kids have been raised knowing what God wants and what is best.
Mhm.
Um, but like, I don't feel the stress of trying to make all my kids stay pure before they're married. That's what I want for them because I
Mhm.
know it's God's best, but it has to be their choice, and I can't make them do anything
Yeah, exactly.
or not do anything. I'm
Yeah.
not with them every second of the day. And so it has to be their core belief and their desire and their want. So
Yeah.
I
You
don't
raised
care
us
that.
right. You
I
raised
hope
us
so.
right. I'm headstrong. Get my stubbornness from her.
No.
I don't know.
I know, I'm kidding.
Okay, I have one more question for her.
Mm,
All right, ready?
ready.
Okay. What's some advice you'd give to people who are having a hard time waiting? Like, give them some encouragement.
I would find like-minded people
Mhm.
who've been there
It's always
to encourage
important.
you. Huh?
I said that's always important.
Yep, to encourage you. Get in your word and remember why you made that decision in the first place.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know, it is hard,
Mhm.
but you just kind of got to remember your why and always have that in front of you. Now, if you're like single and a Christian and you're having a hard time staying pure, that's a deeper issue.
Yes.
And I think you need to explore a little bit more on what's happening inside of your heart. Like, no shame, but just there's
Mhm.
something deeper going on. Opening your heart and your body in a sexual way can cause a lot of harm that you don't even really know that's there as far as emotional and spiritual harm. So
Yeah.
if you feel like you're a hypersexualized person, there's a reason for that and you need to
Yeah.
find out why. And you can, and God can heal that area. And I've known people like that, and it's a huge blessing and it's beautiful. But if you're just, a Christian young couple trying to wait and you want to get married someday, you know, you have to set yourself up for success. Don't go be alone if that's a difficult thing for you. I mean, my husband and I got obsessed with coffee
Yeah, it's in a very public place.
because we went to coffee shops all the time because we didn't want to just sit and be alone. But it was like we could be alone and talk without being alone. And so we didn't like go out and party or anything, and we were pretty young. So
Yeah.
we did a lot of coffee shops.
Well, also just like talking it out with your partner, like saying, "Man, I like really really want you right now," and just like admitting that, like it does help.
Well, the truth
too.
will set you free. We're not supposed
Yeah.
to hide things down in there. So it is important. And
Yep.
we had those conversations like, man, I can't wait till I get married, you
Yeah.
know? And it's, it really helps with your communication too.
Yeah.
Like just saying what you're thinking, or I'm having a hard time right now. We need to do something different so
Yeah.
that I'm out of this spot, you
Well, it
know?
keeps you on the same page.
Yes, very much. It's important to know. I think it's important to know that you are wanted
Yes.
and desired.
Especially as a woman, it's very easy
Mhm.
for us to get in our heads about that too.
Yes, but it's, you know, but also when you're trying to protect yourself. And I know a lot of times people are like, how far is too far? How far can I go?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, if you don't know if this is someone you want to marry, then I don't really, are those questions you should really be
Yeah.
asking.
Like if you get icked out thinking about doing it with that person, I think it's time to rethink everything.
Yes. But it's kind of like whatever lights that flame and like makes you kind of turn the corner, if you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
That's probably too far. And that can be anything for anyone. That could be kissing,
Yep.
you know. I know people who don't even kiss till their wedding day. Now, I wasn't that person.
No.
I think it is good to lean a little bit into the
Helps you know that you
attraction.
want each other
Hmm.
like that, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But, you know, the goal is to just keep yourself in a place where you know you desire each other, but not allowing yourself to just fully lean into those feelings because
Yeah.
those feelings fade, they sober up.
Yep.
Throw some cold water on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Go for a sprint. I don't know. When in doubt, dance it
Oh
out.
yeah, when in
I'm
doubt,
like,
dance it
how do
out.
you not know?
Sorry, I'm like dazed out.
She's
I'm
thinking
like
about
paying too much close attention.
that's what I
Yeah,
say to
when
my
in doubt,
kids
dance it out.
when they're stressed.
And I don't do it.
No.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on the moment.
So if we see couples out there having a little dance party.
Yep. Careful.
Oh,
Yes. Well, thank you, Mom,
you're
for
welcome.
answering these questions. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Always good to have some wise encouragement and question answering.
Yes. I wish I had, well, I mean, I feel like I had some of this, but not quite this open,
For what?
like when dad and I were dating.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like having someone to say things like this very openly.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you can because this is a
I
podcast
know.
and people need to hear this. This
I
is
know. That's
important.
why I like talking about it because I
Yeah.
think it's important for kids to know there's other possibilities out there and how to achieve them and that like your feelings are real. You know, I think
Yeah.
people like to dumb them
Oh
down and
my
be
gosh,
like,
yeah.
they don't actually love each other. You
I
know, they're
know.
only 15.
I'm like,
Lies.
well, it happens. Like,
Yep.
everybody's story is different.
Yes, it
So,
is.
all right, guys, thank you so much for listening, for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I also want to thank my mom for just being able to come on here and talk to you guys because I think that this is one of the topics that not a lot of people like to talk about. So I'm glad that we were able to talk about it.
Me too.
Um, so yeah, thank you for being on here.
You're welcome.
I'm excited because I want to do more stuff like this with you.
I'm game.
Um, did you say I'm game?
Yeah.
Okay, millennial.
I was
No,
gonna
I'm
say, is
kidding.
that what the kids say these days? Probably
I
not.
don't actually know because I'm not in high school anymore. So I feel like when I was a youth leader, it was so hard for me to like understand like half the things that the kids were saying and I'm like, I feel stupid now because like they'd make
Hmm.
fun of me. I'm like, guys, I'm like I don't know. It's
Language
just
changes too
it
fast.
does. It does change too fast. But anyways, anyways, guys, again, I just really appreciate you. And I can't wait for the next episode. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.